All our knowledge has its origins in our perceptions. Leonardo da Vinci. What is the ego? According to the book Master Your Emotions by Thibaut Muris, the ego refers to the self-identity you have constructed throughout your life. The ego is created through your thoughts, and as a mind-created identity, it has no concrete reality. Events that happen to you bear no meaning in themselves. You give them meaning only through your interpretation of those events. Self-awareness is your ability to observe objectively your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors without adding your own interpretation or story to it. My inner world determines my outer circumstances, so I must concentrate on changing the way I think. Pathways to Perfect Living by Vernon Howard. According to the book Master Your Emotions by Thibaut Muris, for an emotion to grow in intensity and duration, you must first interpret an event or a thought. Then you must identify with that thought as it arises. Finally, you must repeat the same thought again and again and identify with it. Now, this can be used both positively and negatively in your life. For the former, probably you want to accomplish some sort of goal, and so to motivate yourself, picture some kind of image with your imagination through the use of your mind to envision what it would be or feel like in living that reality where you have already attained that goal which you presently have conceived. While for the latter, maybe you go through some sort of negative occurrence and you can't just let that experience go in your thoughts and feelings because you keep feeding it your energy through your attention, and they may lead to other negative adverse effects on your psyche and subsequently your external expression, and most times it manifests itself in the form of stress. In the book Becoming Supernatural by Dr. Joe Dispenza, he explains how stress hormones takes over your body. That is, as human beings that we are, and adversely the effect of your thinking mechanism. Both of these points are buttressed in two subtopics in the book under the title How Stress Hormones Take Over and How Your Past Becomes Your Future. So I'm going to relay the information under those subheadings now. Firstly, how stress hormones take over. From a scientific standpoint, living in stress is living in survival. When we perceive a stressful circumstance that threatens us in some way, one for which we cannot predict or control the outcome, a primitive nervous system called the sympathetic nervous system turns on, and the body mobilizes an enormous amount of energy in response to the stressor. Physiologically, the body is automatically tapping into the resources it will need to deal with the current danger. The pupils dilate so we can see better. The heart rate and respiratory rate increase so we can run, fight, or hide. More glucose is released into the bloodstream to make more energy available to our cells, and our blood flow is shunted to the extremities and away from our internal organs so we can move quickly if we need to. The immune system initially dials up and then dials down as adrenaline and cortisol flood the muscles, providing a rush of energy to either escape or fend off the stressor. Circulation moves out of our rational forebrain and is instead related to our hindbrain, so we have less capacity to think creatively and instead rely more on our instinct to instantly react. In the short term, all organisms can tolerate adverse conditions by fighting, hiding, or fleeing from an impending stressor. All of us are built for dealing with short-term bursts of stress. When the event is over, the body normally returns to balance within hours, increasing its energy levels and restoring its vital resources. But when stress doesn't end within hours, the body never returns to balance. In truth, no organism in nature can endure living in emergency mode for extended periods of time. Because of our large brains, human beings are capable of thinking about their problems, reliving past events, or even forecasting future worst situations, and thus turning on the cascade of stress chemicals by thought alone. The second one, how your past becomes your future. When you think a thought or have a memory, a biochemical reaction begins in your brain, causing the brain to release certain chemical signals. That's how immaterial thoughts literally become matter. They become chemical messengers. These chemical signals make your body feel exactly the way you were just thinking. Once you notice you are feeling a particular way, then you generate more thoughts equal to how you are feeling, and then you release more chemicals from your brain to make you feel the way you have been thinking. If thoughts are the vocabulary of the brain and feelings are the vocabulary of the body, and the cycle of how you think and feel becomes your state of being, then your entire state of being is in the past. When you fire and wire the same circuits in your brain over and over again because you keep thinking the same thoughts, you are wiring your brain into the same patterns. As a result, your brain becomes an artifact of your past thinking, and in time, it becomes easier to automatically think in the same ways. At the same time, as you repeatedly feel the same emotions over and over, you are conditioning your body into the past. According to the book Master Emotions by T. Bout Murray's, no matter how great your life is, if you spend most of your time focusing on your problems, you will become depressed. Thus, to reduce negative emotions, you must learn to compartmentalize your issues. Don't let your mind over dramatize things by clustering unrelated issues. Negative emotions only exist in your mind. What you don't focus on doesn't exist. The problem only exists when you give it your attention. From your mind's perspective, what you don't give any thought to doesn't exist. The problem exists only in time. The problem can only exist in the past or in the future. And where do the past and future exist? In your mind. To acknowledge a problem, you must use your thoughts. And thought exists in time, not in the present moment. A problem needs to be labeled as a problem to actually exist. A problem exists only when you interpret the situation as being a problem. Otherwise, there is no problem. To start changing the way you feel, whenever you experience a negative emotion, ask yourself the following question. Firstly, what causes that emotion? And secondly, what can I do about my present reality? After asking these questions, identify concrete actions you could take to change your emotional state. Remember, by nature, emotions will fade as time passes. That is unless you reinforce them by replaying the same situation over and over in your mind. How you feel determines the quality of your life. Be intentional about your feelings on a moment to moment basis and learn to develop the mental habit of not identifying with feelings that don't let you remain in the present moment. Come out for.